The hospital room was supposed to be a place of healing, but for Angela, it was turning into a nightmare. She had just given birth to a beautiful baby girl, her heart full of joy, until a doctor walked in with a chilling expression. His voice was calm, too calm, as he told her there was a complication and that he needed to take the baby for further examination. Something about his tone sent a shiver down her spine. Angela wasn't just any woman. She was the wife of FBI Chief Daniel Carter, a man who had spent years uncovering deception. And right now, her instincts told her something was terribly wrong. She refused to let go, but the doctor's grip tightened. Her heart pounded. Then, just as he tried to take a step toward the door, it burst open. Her husband stood there, eyes locked on the scene. And that's when everything changed. Daniel's presence filled the room like a storm rolling in. His sharp eyes darted between Angela and the doctor, instantly reading the fear on his wife's face. The doctor froze, his grip on the baby loosening slightly, but he didn't let go. Angela's voice trembled as she spoke. He said there was a complication, but he won't explain. Daniel took a step forward, his voice calm but firm. "Put my daughter down." The doctor hesitated, his fingers twitching. The tension in the room thickened. Nurses outside the door glanced in, sensing something was off but unsure if they should step in. Angela's mind raced. This wasn't a simple misunderstanding. She had noticed the way the doctor avoided eye contact, the slight shake in his hands. And now, standing in front of them, Daniel saw it too. Something bigger was at play. But what? And why their baby? The doctor's jaw tightened, his fingers lingering on the baby as if he were calculating his next move. Angela's heartbeat pounded in her ears. She clutched the hospital blanket, her body aching from exhaustion, but there was no room for weakness now. Daniel inched closer, his hands steady, but his eyes burning with quiet rage. "I said, put my daughter down." His voice was low, controlled, but there was no mistaking the threat beneath it. The doctor finally released the baby, placing her gently back into Angela's arms. But instead of backing away, he straightened his posture, regaining some of his composure. "I was only following orders," he muttered under his breath. Daniel's gaze sharpened. Orders? From who? Angela held her daughter close, every instinct in her screaming that this wasn't over. Daniel could feel it too. There was something bigger at play, something dangerous lurking beneath the surface. And he wasn't leaving until he got answers. Daniel's mind raced. The doctor's words lingered in the air. Asterisk following orders asterisk, his gut told him this wasn't some random mistake. Someone had planned this. But why and who? Angela cradled their daughter, her arms tightening protectively around the tiny bundle. The doctor took a step back, but his expression didn't show fear. It showed calculation. He glanced toward the hallway, as if expecting someone to come through the door at any moment. Daniel caught the movement. Without breaking eye contact, he pulled his phone from his pocket and sent a quick, discreet message to his team. Backup was coming, but he wasn't waiting. He moved fast, stepping between the doctor and the door. "You're not going anywhere," he said, his voice cold. The doctor hesitated, then reached into his coat. Angela gasped. Daniel tensed. Then from the hallway, the sound of approaching footsteps, several of them, echoed through the air. The footsteps grew louder, and Daniel positioned himself protectively in front of Angela and their daughter. The doctor's hand twitched inside his coat, but before he could pull anything out, the door burst open. A woman in a dark suit stepped inside, flanked by two men in hospital security uniforms. Her sharp eyes locked onto the doctor, and for a split second, his face went pale. "Dr. Reynolds," she said, her voice clipped. "Step away from the patient." The doctor hesitated. then slowly removed his hand from his coat, empty. But the tension in his posture didn't ease. Angela held her breath, watching as Daniel's expression shifted, piecing something together. Daniel turned to the woman. "You knew this was happening." She didn't flinch. "We've been tracking him." Then her gaze dropped to the baby. "But you weren't supposed to be a part of this." Angela's stomach dropped. Asterisk, what did she mean, asterisk? Angela's grip tightened around her daughter as the weight of the woman's words sank in. Asterisk, you weren't supposed to be a part of this, asterisk. A cold chill ran through her. This wasn't just about the doctor. This was bigger. Daniel stepped forward, his voice like steel. What exactly was supposed to happen? The woman exhaled, her eyes flicking between Angela, the baby, and Dr. Reynolds. "We've been investigating an underground network targeting newborns. They operate inside hospitals, using corrupt staff to take babies under false pretenses. She nodded toward the doctor, was one of them." Angela's breath caught. "You're saying he was trying to take asterisk my asterisk child?" Dr. Reynolds clenched his jaw, but didn't deny it. Daniel's fists tightened. "Then why stop him now?" The woman hesitated. Then in a low voice, she said, "Because your daughter wasn't the target." Silence filled the room. Angela's heartbeat pounded in her ears. Then the woman's next words sent a shock through them all. "They were after asterisk, you asterisk." Angela's breath hitched. "Asterisk, man." Asterisk, her mind spun, trying to make sense of it. Daniel's protective stance only tightened, his sharp eyes demanding an explanation. The woman lowered her voice. "They weren't just taking babies. They were targeting specific mothers, once connected to powerful people. We believe they wanted leverage." She glanced at Daniel. "And as the FBI chief's wife, you are a prime target." Angela's stomach twisted. This wasn't just some random scheme. It was personal. Dr. Reynolds, now restrained by security, glared at them but said nothing. Daniel stepped closer, his voice cold. "You're done." Within minutes, backup arrived, and Reynolds was taken away. Angela held her daughter close, overwhelmed but relieved. Daniel wrapped an arm around her, his voice softer now. "They'll never touch you. Either of you." Angela exhaled, looking down at their daughter. The danger was over, and their family was safe, at least for now.